guess I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, champ?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm gonna get a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, during one time during my career, I went on a Bomber of the Month tour.
Bomber of the Month? I would have been a bomb compared to you.
Well, you've been on the tour.
Oh, man.
Watch this. A left-right combination by Rocky draws a beautiful left hook counter by La Starza. Oh, his man down. La Starza has been knocked down, but never out. As he himself puts it, I know how to get up. During this, and ducking under those shots by Marciano. Watch.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before we get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to be a content creator. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Storian. Today, the best defensive boxers of all time. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Storian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Mike Masick in the building. Salute, Mike. How are you today? The best defensive boxer of all time today. It's Thursday afternoon. How's everyone? Getting late in this week, big week of boxing history. Now, today was supposed to be boxing in the States, but remember I kept saying Oregon yesterday, and I got halfway through and getting Oregon ready yesterday, and then I realized I already did Oregon. I was going backwards. Pennsylvania was the last state, so today was supposed to be Rhode Island. But I had to come up with something else real quick, so we'll resume boxing in the States next week. Mike Rem in the building. What's up, Mike? Yeah, I was getting ready, prepared to do Oregon. I already did Oregon, remember? What threw me off, we didn't have a boxing in the States last week. We'll resume next week with Rhode Island. Pennsylvania was the last one. Oregon was before Pennsylvania. Let's salute Mike Rem and Mike Masick. Okay, today, for the highlights of boxing history, we're going to get back to the Ring Magazine fights and fighters of the year. Where were we? 2000s, right? We're going to do the Ring Magazine fights and fighters of the year for the decade of 2000 to 2009, okay? And today is going to be all about the best defensive fighters of all time, okay? But 2000 to 2009. League Magazine fighting fighters of the year. I still haven't checked to see who's fighting this weekend. Everybody is still wrapped up on that Tank situation from last week. Some people just couldn't wait to start talking bad about Tank, so they just had that all saved up for the least little slip up. And he didn't even lose, he just had a draw, but hey, they couldn't wait. Some guy says Tank fans have crashed. I don't know what he means by that, have crashed. What do you mean, went to sleep? Have crashed. What does that mean? They couldn't wait, man. He probably had that saved up for the last 10 years to say that. Tank fans have crashed. What does that mean, have crashed? Very interesting. Yeah, let me check, see what we got this weekend right quick. Then we're going to get on into the Ring Magazine fighting fighters of the year for 2000 to 2009. Okay, we only got a couple more decades to go. We got the 2010 to 2019, or 2011 to 2020. Then we got, well, I know Usyk won the fighter of the year for this. I knew Usyk was going to win it for 2024. I don't know what the fight of the year was, but I did see that Usyk won fighter of the year, and I called that. I got receipts. You have to go into my receipts. I've been saying it since like October of last year. Usyk was going to win fighter of the year. Okay. This weekend is the 7th. It's tomorrow. We got a fight tomorrow from London. Natasha Jonas, Lauren Price, female fight. Okay. Also on the card, Caroline Dubois, Daniel's sister, putting her title on the line. What do we got Saturday on the 8th? Evelyn Nazarena from Santa Fe, Argentina. Okay. No big name. Couple good women's fights. Oh yeah, the big one, March 13th from Tokyo. The flyweight. Kenshiro Taraji and Seigo Yuri Aki. I talked about that one a couple weeks ago. Remember, that is going to be a good one. That's the one I was trying to see if we could get a casual's corner on that one. Kenshiro Taraji and Seigo Yuri Aki. And speaking of casual's corner, there's Thomas Hill. What's up, Thomas Hill? Yeah, that fight is coming up in not this Saturday, the next Saturday. That's a good one at flyweight 112. That's a unification too. Kenshiro Taraji and Seigo Yuri Aki. Yeah. Hill, I wonder if we could get a breakdown on that one. I'd come up and help you with that. Break that one down. Yeah. Talked about that a couple weeks ago when I did flyweight, remember? Okay, but salute Thomas Hill. The highlights of boxing history, we back to our Ring Magazine Fights and Fighters of the Year 2000 to 2009. Let's get into it. Okay. And this was a big one in that decade right here. Everybody remembers this one. Them two. They had 3 battles. Did they have a trilogy? Ward and Gaddy. Yeah. That was a huge one. Ward and Gaddy. So that'll be our picture to represent the decade. Okay. But the fight of the year for the year 2000 was Eric Morales versus Marco Antonio Barrera. Now, this fight took place on February 19th, 2000 at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay. Memento. Is that Spanish for 1 minute? Memento? Or is it French? It's something for a minute. Italian or something, I don't know. Okay. Yeah. February 9th, 2000, Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, this fight was the first match in the highly regarded Barrera versus Morales trilogy. Many people thought that Barrera should have got the victory in a very controversial decision that went to Morales. Now, this was a very competitive fight, with round 5 thought of as epic a round as any in boxing history. Both fighters were hurt in round 5, but neither hit the canvas. Now, Morales won the fight by a split decision, with 2 judges scoring at 114-113 and 115-111 for Morales, and the other scoring at 114-113 for Barrera. So Morales took the first fight. Now, the fighter of the year for 2000 was Felix Tito Trinidad. Tito went 3-0 for the year, with 2 wins by stoppage, including a 12th round TKO win over Fernando Vargas. Okay. Fight of the year for 2001. Mickey Ward versus Emmanuel Augustus. Okay, Mickey Ward was in like 3 fights of the year. 2 with Gaddy and 1 with Emmanuel Augustus in the 2000s. But 2001 was Mickey Ward versus Emmanuel Augustus. Now, Ward and Augustus met in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire on July 13th, 2001. Now, Ward won the matchup, capturing a thrilling 10-round unanimous decision over Augustus, who was then known as Emmanuel Burton. Now, going into round 10, Ward had thrown over 1,000 punches, and Augustus, although firing off less punches, had still landed 358 blows. Over the final round, both fighters naturally emptied their gas tanks in a riveting conclusion to an amazing battle with a merciless barrage of leather from both sides. They traded punches for the final 30 seconds of the fight, with the crowd on their feet, roaring, okay? As the bell sounded to end the fight, referee Steve Smoger embraced both fighters in awe of what he had just witnessed. The referee embraced both fighters at the bell. How often do you see that happen? He was in awe of what he had seen in that fight. In the final round alone, a combined total of 304 punches were thrown, 175 by Ward, 129 by Augustus. Now, Ward got the nod on all three judges' scorecards, one of them by a ridiculous 8-point margin. Yeah, that was ridiculous. And the fighter of the year for 2001 was B-Hop, Bernard Hopkins. B-Hop won a unanimous decision over Keith Holmes in his first fight of a 4-man tournament in May 2001. Okay, then in September 2001, he won the tournament, becoming undisputed middleweight champion with a 12th round TKO of Felix Trinidad. Now that was 3-belt. That wasn't when he became the first 4-belt. That was like 2005 over Oscar. That was 3-belt undisputed right then. Okay, 2002, fight of the year. Now, Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti, won. Ward Gatti won. On May 18th, 2002, Ward and Gatti engaged in what would be one of the greatest fights in boxing history. The fight also began one of the best trilogies in the history of the sport. The fight took place in Uncasville, Connecticut. This matchup featured almost unbelievable amounts of punishment being doled out by both fighters. Now, while Gatti was employed to box more by his trainer Buddy McGirt, it was the thunderous head and body shots to Ward that were doing the damage. Ward, who himself possessed the same Gatti-type toughness, landed lots of strong shots upstairs, but it was the work on the body that was taking the toll on Gatti. Okay? The fight was close going into the late rounds, and the ninth was truly 3 of the best minutes in boxing ever. Ward dropped Gatti early in the 9th round for body shot, and after rising, Gatti absorbed an incredible amount of punishment from Ward. But Gatti also dished out some major damage of his own. At the bell, both fighters staggered to their corner as the crowd went crazy. Legendary trainer Emanuel Stewart, who was commenting on the fight for HBO, proclaimed at the bell ending the round, "This should be round of the century." Now, for the remainder of the fight, both fighters' pace slowed, but not by much. Ward won a close decision in one of the greatest fights in the history of the super lightweight division and the sport. And the fighter of the year for 2002 was Vernon Forrest. Crush the legend in the building. What's up, Crush? Of course, Crush the legend with the coffee and the donuts. 6:00 a.m. Monday through Friday. Salute, Crush. Appreciate you stopping by today, my brother. We're doing a little highlight of boxing history first. Ring Magazine Fight and Fighters of the Year for the 2000 Crush. From 2001 to 2009. Right? No, 2000 to 2009. 2009. This is 2002. And we're at the Fighter of the Year for 2002 was Vernon Forrest. Now, Forrest went 2-0 for the year with 2 impressive wins over Shane Mosley. Both his wins was over Sugar Shane. And with his first win over Sugar Shane, he lifted the WBC title off of Mosley. And he won the vacant ring belt. And then in the other win over Mosley in 2002, Forrest retained both titles in the rematch. Both wins were by unanimous decision. Yeah, 2 good fights with Shane Mosley earning Vernon Forrest Fighter of the Year in 2002. Okay, let's go to 2003. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more in the building. What's up, Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more? Big time boxing history. guy Bruce Gas. That's where the box historian goes to get his history. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute Bruce Gas. We are talking about the Ring Magazine Fights and Fighters of the Year from 2000 to 2009, Bruce. Up until like 2:30ish, something like that. Okay, where were we? 2003, yeah. The fight of the year for 2003 was Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward 3. So back-to-back years. One was 2002, then they had two. And then in 2003, they had three. And 3 won fight of the year for 2003. Now, the third fight of Ward and Gatti's trilogy took place on June 7th, 2003 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Home of Gatti, yeah. Now, Gatti broke his arm in the 4th round, but still won the fight. It was back and forth, just like the first 2 fights. Now, Gatti pounded Ward with punch after punch early on, but Ward fight back and scored a 6th round knockdown of Gatti. Now, before Gatti could get up, or the referee's count could hit 10, the bell sounded to end the round. Now, Gatti was able to come back out after being knocked down and win the fight by unanimous decision. Now, again, after the fight, both men needed a trip to the hospital because of the injury they suffered in the fight. This was the 3rd consecutive Ring Magazine Fight of the Year that Ward had competed in. Ward was the first fighter to accomplish that feat since Rocky Marciano and Carmen Vasilio each did so in the 1950s. And the fighter of the year for 2003 was James Lights Out Toney. It was the 2nd year Lights Out won the award. Now, Toney won 2 fights in 2003. The first was a 12-round unanimous decision over Vasily Giro, which made Toney a 3-weight world champion after he won the IBF Cruiserweight title in the fight. Then later in the year, in October of 2003, his win over aging former heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield was Toney's entry into the heavyweight division. So James Lights Out Toney, fighter of the year for 2003, okay? 2004, fight of the year, okay? Marco Antonio Barrera versus Eric Morales, 3. Barrera Morales, 3. Now, the score needed settling. Fans craved the rubber match as the 2 fighters wanted another chance to trade blows with each other. And the 3rd fight was billed as once and for all. Ring bravado meant neither man would give even an inch in what was another slugfest between the 2 warriors. Even when Morales suffered a broken nose, right? Now, the 11th round was voted round of the year after both fighters gave everything their bodies could physically withstand. Barrera won again, this time by majority decision. Morales won the first one and Barrera won the last 2. Won by majority decision the 3rd fight. Now, the savage nature of the 3 battles forced the bond between the 2 men, enabling them to leave the past contempt and dislike for each other behind and become close friends after their boxing careers ended. And there they are after their careers ended. They became close friends. Barrera on the left, Morales on the right. See? That's after their boxing careers. Because they really didn't like each other during them 3 fights, man. And yeah, but they put, when you fight each other and competitive like that 3 fights, you can't help but get a certain respect for each other. And after their careers, they became close friends, and there they are. Okay. Now, fighter of the year for 2003. Oh, is it 2004? Yeah, fighter of the year for 2004 was Glenn Johnson. Johnson went 3-0 in 2004, including winning the IBF light heavyweight title with a 12-round unanimous decision against Clinton Woods in February 2004. Then retaining his title by a 9th round knockout of Roy Jones in September 2004. In his 3rd fight of the year, he added the IBO and Ring Magazine titles with a split decision win against Antonio Tarver in December 2004. Okay, we're halfway through the decade, 2005. This might run past 230 a little bit. It's going to all balance out. But the fight of the year for 2005 was Diego Corrales versus Jose Luis Castillo. Castillo. Now, this fight took place on May 7th, 2005 in Paradise, Nevada at the Mandalay Bay Event Center. Now, both men stood in front of each other, battering each other with hard combinations and power punches throughout the entire fight, okay? Now, in the fourth round, a cut opened above Castillo's eye. I'm going to call him Castillo. Corrales had welts under both of his eyes, and his left eye started to swell shut in the seventh round. Now, through 9 rounds, neither man had been knocked down, but less than 30 seconds into the 10th round, Castillo hit Corrales on the chin and knocked him down. Corrales spat out his mouthpiece and rose at 8 of referee Tony Weeks' count. Seconds later, Castillo knocked Corrales down again. Corrales took his mouthpiece out again and rose at the count of 9. Now, Weeks deducted a point from Corrales this time for excessive spitting out the mouthpiece. And when the fight resumed, Corrales connected with a punch that Castillo later called a perfect right hand. Corrales then trapped Castillo against the ropes and landed numerous punches that appeared to knock Castillo out on his feet, causing Tony Weeks to stop the fight, giving Corrales a 10th round TKO. And the fighter of the year for 2005 was Ricky the Hitman Hatton. Now, Hatton went 2-0 in 2005. In June 2005, he defeated IBF and Ring Magazine champion Kostya Tszyu. Remember that one? And at the time, Kostya Tszyu was regarded as one of the top pound-for-pound boxers in the world, right? So a big win for Hatton. Hatton won by 11th round RTD to win. To win the titles, okay? Then in November 2005, Hatton won a junior welterweight unification match, knocking out Carlos Maza in the 9th round, retaining his IBF and ring title, and winning Maza's WBA title, okay? So 2005 Fighter of the Year, the Hitman, Ricky Hatton. Okay, let's go to 2006. Fight of the Year for 2006. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to go be on a first name basis with these two guys. Okay. I'll spell them out for y'all, man. This is the participants in the Fight of the Year for 2006. HATCHA. Tune back in at 3 o'clock because that's how long it's going to take me to put these names as long as they are. M.A. Maillard. Monsipol. Yeah, I got the second one, man. He's French. Monsipol, I guess. But these were the participants in the Fight of the Year for 2006. There you go. Them two. I'm going to be on a first name basis with them, okay? So we got Samsak versus Maillard. Now, this fight took place on March 18th, 2006 in France. Monsipol, yeah, he was from France, okay? Now, left hook at 14 seconds of the opening round clipped Monsipol on the chin as the two exchanged and sent him down 14 seconds into it. He was dropped again later in the round. Monsipol threw almost non-stop and landed frequently in the 3rd round. Monsipol went to the mat again for the 3rd time in round 4, but the referee ruled that one a push, right? In the middle rounds, Somsack turned his focus to the body and began to back Monshipour up. Monshipour attempted to respond with pressure, but Somsack countered him effectively. In the late rounds, Somsack took control of the fight, landing clean, heavy shots to the head. A right-left, right-right combination caused Monshipour to wobble backward in the 10th round. Somsack followed up with a huge wound-up left hand, then landed 5 more shots to the head. As Monshipour stumbled back into the rope, the referee stepped in and stopped the fight. ESPN called the fight raw, unvarnished, jaw-dropping brutality. And the fighter of the year for 2006 was the Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao went 3-0 in 2006 with 2 stoppage wins over Eric Morales and a unanimous decision over Oscar Larios. A couple more years to go. Fight of the year for 2007. Israel Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez 2 was this second fight. This fight took place on August 4th, 2007 at Dodge Arena in Hidalgo, Texas. Now, the rematch was considered to be even greater than the first fight. This was the rematch here, too. Now, the action peaked in round 3, a round that would later win the Ring Magazine Round of the Year award. Now, both fighters exchanged heavy punches throughout the 3rd round, with Marquez suffering a cut over the right eye. Now, Marquez was able to respond with a series of overhand rights, which opened cuts over both of Vasquez's eyes. Now, the blood would continue to flow from Vasquez's left eye throughout the remainder of the fight. Now, during the 6th round, Vasquez was able to knock Marquez down with a heavy hook to the head. And although Marquez was able to rise from the canvas, the referee, Jose Guadalupe Garcia, stopped the action after Vasquez landed another series of punches. Thus, Vasquez reclaimed the title by 6th round TKO. And the fighter of the year for 2007 was Floyd Mayweather Jr. This was the second time Floyd won the award. He had won one back in the 90s. Okay. Let me refresh this site. I'm not trying to miss anybody coming in. No. Okay. Yeah, Floyd won Fighter of the Year for 2007. He went 2-0. Wait a minute. He went 2-0 in 2007. In May 2007, he beat Oscar De La Hoya and won the WBC Junior Middleweight title in that fight. Then later in 2007, in December, he defeated Ricky Hatton by a 10th round TKO to retain the WBC and ring welterweight titles. Okay, go to 2008. Okay, we got a repeat. 2008 Fighter of the Year, Israel Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez 3. Remember, 2 won it in 2007. 2008, 3 wins. The rubber match took place March 1st, 2008 at Home Depot Center in Carson, California. Now, the fight, which once again won the award for Ring Magazine Fight of the Year, saw both fighters engaged in non-stop action. And unlike the first 2 encounters, this one was the first one that went through full 12 rounds. The Marquez controlled the early action of the fight by landing effective jabs and right hand, although Vasquez was able to land hard shots intermittently. Now, Marquez underlined his dominance in the fight by sending Vasquez to the canvas with a hard right hand in the 4th round. Vasquez survived the knockdown and would go on to hurt Marquez several times in that same round. And that round was named Round of the Year by Ring Magazine, 4th round. Now, the fighters were evenly matched over the middle round portion of the fight, with Vasquez once again fighting with deep cuts over his eyes, just like the second fight. Now, Marquez suffered a setback in the 10th round when he was docked a point for persistent low blows, and that proved significant. Late in the final round, Marquez was badly hurt from a heavy barrage of punches. And with only seconds to go in the fight, Vasquez scored a knockdown when the referee deemed that only the ropes were keeping Marquez up, keeping from going down. Now, although Marquez was able to recover to hit a final bell, it was Vasquez who was announced as the winner by split decision. And remember that point, Marquez lost, so it probably would have been a draw. Now, one judge scored the fight 114-111 in favor of Marquez, see? But this was overruled by scores of 114-111 and 113-112 for Vasquez. There's your draw, right? Hadn't lost that point, there's your draw. Because the third and deciding judge was 114-112 for Vasquez. But a point deduction was significant. And Fighter of the Year for 2008 was Manny Pacquiao. Second time he won the award. And he had 3 fights in 2008, the Pac-Man did, winning all 3, including an 8th round stoppage win over Oscar De La Hoya in his final fight of the year in December. And finally, final fight of the year for the decade was 2009, was Juan Manuel Marquez versus Juan Diaz, their first fight. This fight took place at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, on February 28, 2009. Okay. Now, Diaz controlled the fight early on as the two boxers exchanged punches. Diaz opened a cut above Marquez's right eye in the 5th round and looked to control the fight. But Marquez responded by opening a gash above Diaz's right eye and stunning him with a left hook before the end of the 8th round. Now, Marquez landed 2 hard rights to Diaz's face in a 3-punch combination that knocked Diaz down with 35 seconds remaining in the 9th round. Diaz rose, but seconds later, Marquez followed with a right uppercut to the chin that knocked Diaz down for a second time. Referee Rafael Ramos waved it into the fight after the second knockdown, 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the 9th round. And Fighter of the Year, final Fighter of the Year for the decade, who else? Manny Pacquiao for the 3rd time. They won the award for the 2nd consecutive year and 3rd time overall by winning 2 fights in the year. A 2nd round knockout in May of Ricky Hatton to win the IBO junior welterweight title. And in November, Pac-Man defeated Miguel Cotto by 12th round TKO and added the WBO title to his collection and conquered his 7th weight division. He had 1 more to go, remember? That was number 7. Okay? So now let's get into the show today is the best defensive fighters of all time. Okay? They got 25 of them again, just like we had 25 pound for pound yesterday. Today we got 25 of the best defensive fighters of all time. Okay? Who's just gonna run over? 239. Good time. Okay. Appreciate everybody stopping by today. Hit the like button. Didn't miss anybody. Okay. Yeah, this is Thursday. We got a couple women's championship fights this weekend. We got Natasha Jonas putting her titles on the line, and Daniel's little sister, Caroline Dubois, putting her title on the line. I think Caroline Dubois is featherweight, right? I think. Or maybe she might be junior lightweight. Natasha is like welterweight. They're not fighting each other, but they're on the same card over there from London. So, and then next weekend we got the big unification of the 2 Japanese fighters, Kenjiro Terashi and Seigo Yuri Agi. I've been talking about that one for a minute. No one's talking about that. That's Fighter of the Year type territory. They're them 2. Yeah, don't miss that one. That's from Japan. Man, I don't know if we're gonna get it. I think they Bob fight for the Bob Father, so ESPN. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think they're under the Bob Arum banner. So yeah, we should be able to see that. Don't miss that one. That's not this weekend. Next weekend. Kenjiro Terashi, Seigo Yuri Agi, flyweight 112 unification. I think Taraji has the WBC, Agee has the WBA. Potential fighter of the year type situation. Now, great defense transcends and defines champions in all sports. You know, just like we see in Super Bowls, NBA Finals, World Series, and boxing championship fights. Solid defense is always one of the major factors that leads to some fighter or some team being champion. Your great defense, man. Number 25, Sam Langford. Sam Langford, some of the best defensive fighters of all time. Okay. Now, ESPN called Sam Langford the greatest fighter nobody knows, primarily because he never secured a world title. Speculators say this is due to the extremely popular Jack Johnson's refusal to fight Langford, and many thought the 5'6", 185-pound Langford could beat the superior Johnson, right? Yes, he fought Sam Langford for the colored title, and after that, Johnson never fought him again. Johnson went to fight, but it was a tough fight. Johnson saw something in that fight where he said he wanted no more parts of Sam Langford. Call himself the Boston Tar Baby. Okay. 24, the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. He's underrated defensively because he was such a pressure fighter, such an offensive fighter. His defense was overlooked, but a great defensive fighter. The Hands of Stone was, man. Yeah. Turn you out like. Excuse me for a minute. Let me bring my screen closer. That wasn't too much noise, was it? Yeah. I'm working off the phone now. I was working off a big old notebook, but now, yeah, okay. But that was too much information, wasn't it? Roberto Duran gained a reputation as a versatile brawler, more commonly known as a boxer puncher. He could fight skillfully when he needed to and exchange aggressively at the drop of a hat. Little brief discussions, that's all. I ain't trying to bore y'all, okay? These are some of the best defensive fighters of all time. Coming in at number 23, James Lights Out Tony. There's Lights Out. Although his professional record in MMA does not suggest it, Tony is known for slipping and rolling with punches to avoid absorbing the full impact. Arguably one of the slickest moves in boxing. Fading or swaying a punch gives the fighter great opportunities to counter. Unfortunately, not every fighter has the timing to pull off such a defensive move. Tony is one of the best at it. Okay, Lights Out. All right. James Lights Out Tony. Okay, coming in at number 22 is, don't start that, Larry Holmes, the Eastern Assassin. Wait a minute. That ain't Larry Holmes. Oh, well. I don't know what happened. It ain't Larry Holmes, though. Bear with me. Let's see if I can find the Eastern Assassin on here. No Eastern Assassin. I didn't put him in. My bad. Everybody's in. That was fighting. I make one mistake every year, so that's it for 2025. No, I didn't. There he is, right there. There's the Eastern Assassin. I don't know how he got way up there, but Larry Holmes is number. I forgot what number he was. 23, right? Oh, come on, I'm having a rough time here. What is going on? Bear with me. That thing won't move. And we're going to get it together. Having some technical difficulties. So hang in there with me for a moment, please. Okay, there we go. There we go. I don't know what happened. We got it. Larry Holmes. Okay. And he was 22 because JT Lights Out was 23. Okay, Larry Holmes. Talk about him real quick. Now, the jab is an absolute must for any serious heavyweight. Holmes has a tremendous jab and handed Ali, Norton, and Cooney losses because of that jab. Okay? Yeah, there's the man that was 21 with Stanley Ketchum. We go way back. Stanley Ketchum. But hey, he was a great defensive fighter, so he makes the list. There's Stanley. You can tell that's old. That looked like a statue. Stanley Ketchum. Stanley Ketchum. Now, the Michigan Assassin was born to Polish immigrants in 1886. Ketchum would remind some of us as a Manny Pacquiao of his day. Ketchum was a middleweight who often fought heavyweight. His boxer punching style allowed him to win against fighters who outweighed him by 30 pounds or more. Stanley Ketchum. Okay, we're back in order. Number 20, the Manasseh Mauler, Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey. Gotta wet my whistle. I just want to wet my whistle. Oh, excuse me. I got carried away for a minute. I'm sorry. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Crush might. Okay. Jack Dempsey. Dempsey is a rare once-in-a-lifetime type fighter. His offense was his defense. He became one of the most popular boxers of his era because of his aggressive style, which pleased his fans. He definitely had a crowd-friendly style. Next is Marco Antonio Barrera. That's him on the left. That's him and Eric Morales. Okay. Now, Barrera is another seemingly misplaced boxer on the best defense list, largely because he is legendary for delivering some of the biggest brawls in boxing history. You know, he's like in the same category with Duran. He was so offensive that his defense is overlooked. But a great defensive fighter Barrera was, yeah. Look at some of his fights and watch closely. However, Barrera put on a boxing clinic against the very dangerous fighter Nassim Hamed. Some people claim that Barrera had a rare ability to change his style as he got older, a trait that made him great. Okay? Next is the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. Some of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. The Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. Okay? Louis holds the world record at 25 for the most consecutive title defenses at heavyweight. Now, a clean, living, honest fighter, Joe Louis was rejuvenating for boxing, which had earned a bad reputation for fixed fights and gambling. And they took pains. Joe Louis was naturally a low-key guy, but they took pains to make sure he wasn't the next Jack Johnson. Because, he was the first black heavyweight champion after Jack Johnson. And, Jack Johnson was just wild. And they wanted to make sure Joe Louis was nothing like him, okay? And he was rejuvenating for the sport. A gentleman champion. Winky Wright. Ronald Winky Wright. There he is. Ronald Winky Wright. Great defensive fighter. Ronald Winky Wright is freakishly good, right? With an arm span longer than his height, Wright was built for defense, okay? His peekaboo boxing guard allows him to work behind a seemingly impenetrable armor. How most fighters will hit you in the body, try to bring your arms down, cover your body, or hit you in the head, try to bring your arms up to expose your body. Winky Wright could cover his head and his body at the same time. That's how long his arm span was. And the peekaboo, cover his head and his elbows all the way down, covering his body too. Winky. Yeah. seemingly impenetrable armor when he was in that peekaboo. When Wright puts up his guard, his elbows extend all the way to his waistband while still covering his head. I just said that. Okay, let me just cover this, follow the script. But yeah, that was so true of Wright. When he had his peekaboo, cover his head and body at the same time, seemingly impenetrable. The Rock, Rocky Marciano. Okay, yeah, I just love that picture. That's Susie Q landing on Jersey Joe Walcott. Walcott was out for 5 minutes, and he looked like he already asleep. Yeah, some people say Rock was underrated, but hey, when he beat Jersey Joe Walcott, Walcott was champion. Nobody else took the title from him. Okay? Walcott might have been old, but he was champion. So that means something. Nobody else was beating him. Right? So come on, you got to give Rock his props. Archie Moore. When he beat Archie Moore, Archie had 30 more fights after he fought Rock and only lost one. When he beat Joe Louis, was older, but Joe Louis was the #1 contender. So who else was he supposed to fight? Right? So come on, give Rocky his credit, man. The only heavyweight to retire undefeated at 49 and over 43 knockouts. Enough said. It's like 87% knockout rate. I should know this. I think it's 87.7. Let me make sure. I know that one by heart. Yeah, 87.7 was a Rock. You don't have to say no more. 49 and 0, 43 knockouts. Only heavyweight to retire undefeated. Gene Tunney almost did it, but he lost one fight to Harry Graham at light heavyweight. Gene Tunney never lost at heavyweight, but he had that one loss at light heavyweight. So Rock is the only one. Okay. After the Rock, we got the great Benny Leonard. Benny Leonard. Talk about some of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. Benny Leonard. Yes, Benny. We're going to talk about some jabs, great jabbers, and the importance of footwork. Okay, today. I didn't do the boxing in the States because I was preparing it last night. I got halfway through. I was doing Oregon. Then I realized I already did Oregon. I was going backwards. Pennsylvania was last. It's supposed to be Rhode Island was next. So we're going to resume next week. And I kept saying Oregon yesterday. Why didn't y'all tell me I did Oregon, man? Y'all was in here. Help a brother out, man. Gotta blame somebody. I ain't blame myself. I blame y'all. Y'all didn't tell me. Should have put in there, Cass, you did Oregon. Okay, Benny Leonard. Now, one of the greatest nicknames ever given, this is one of my favorites, the Ghetto Wizard. And Alexis Arguello, the Explosive Thin Man. Those are two of my favorites. And of course, the Hands of Stone. Okay. Now, yeah, one of the greatest nicknames ever given, the Ghetto Wizard. Benny Leonard. Leonard learned to fight on the streets of a Jewish ghetto. When he went pro, he quickly gained notoriety as a high-skilled boxer with superior defensive ability. Right away, they learned about Benny. Homicide Hank. There's Homicide Hank. Henry Armstrong. Only man to ever be champion in 3 weight classes at the same time. That's crazy. You know, featherweight and welterweight at the same time, 21 pound difference. And he was defending both belts. He fought kind of light at welterweight, you know. But, you know, hey, long as you're under 147, you know, he was champion. Henry Armstrong. ESPN ranked Armstrong number 3 in the 50 greatest fighters of all time. Armstrong did something only Manny Pacquiao was able to supersede, winning championships in 3 or more weight divisions. In the early 1900s, there were fewer weight divisions, and if Armstrong would have fought today, it would be 7 championships in 7 different weight classes. Right. Speaking of Manny Pacquiao, there he is, the Pac-Man. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Hit the like button for me. I would really appreciate it. The Pac-Man. Okay? Manny Pacquiao. The Filipino icon, Manny Pacquiao, at number 13. Now, while some people will contest Manny is more of an offensive fighter, his defense is largely underrated, right? He dominated some larger fighters, and that was directly attributed to his hard punching and ability to reduce the amount of punishment he took, right? He rarely held during his career. Pacquiao depended on footwork and sidestepping motions to avoid taking heavy punishment from those larger fighters. Yeah. Your Manny was usually the smaller guy in there. Yeah. I think he went all the way to what, 154? Only 8 weight division champion. The next closest one is 6. Oscar, right? No, 7. Amanda Serrano. Can't forget Amanda. Amanda's got 7 and she's still active. So she could potentially, I think that would have been 8 if they wouldn't have cheated her in that last fight against Katie Taylor. I think that would have tied Manny, right? For number 8 for Amanda. Yeah. But you know, the judges, I thought Amanda won both of those fights. Yeah. I don't even want to see him again. They're only going to do the same thing. Katie leading with that big head. Obviously, they lead with a big ass head. Katie got to be on steroids. No woman's neck is that big, man, naturally. No way. Her neck damn near bigger than my waist, man. She got to be on something, man. Ain't no female gonna have a neck like that, man, naturally. No way. Come on, man. No way. But Jack Johnson is next. Don't she have a thick neck? Y'all have seen Katie's neck? Wow. Jack Johnson. Hailing from Galveston, Texas. Johnson was a product of his era. Boxing was different in the late 1800s. A more patient approach. Johnson would wait to capitalize on mistakes. Often, Johnson was criticized as a coward because he was so cautious. But hey, he was winning though. You know, Technique in the building. What's up, Technique? Technique says Shakur Stevenson is the best defensive fighter of all time. Yeah. But yeah, Technique. I didn't put any current fighters. I always use the former guys. Yeah. If I'm still doing this 10, 20 years from now, then we'll get Shakur and Tank and Canelo and Lomachenko and Boots and Bud and all them guys. But salute Technique, yeah. But yes, Shakur is definitely up there, man. No doubt about it. Yeah, Shakur Stevens. Okay, where were we? Roy Jones Jr. is next. Good defensive fighter. We're at number, oh, Lord. Okay, I keep having these technical difficulties, but yeah, we're back. I just got to get back down to where I was at. What is Roy? Roy is number 12 or something like that. No, I don't want to come out. I came out. Bear with me, everybody. Appreciate everybody sticking with me. Technical difficulties. But I'm back in. Yeah, okay. Roy is number 12, I think. I had it written down somewhere. That's why I like writing stuff, because, you know, you write stuff in a notebook, you don't have no technical difficulties. You just read it, right? But there's not a lot of time permitting to do that a lot of times, you know. Roy's number 11, Roy Jones Jr. Now, the fastest fighter of his day, Roy Jones once knocked out Glenn Kelly with both hands behind his back. Notably, the best defensive fighter at the time because of his speed, Roy Jones almost seemed superhuman to spectators. Joe Calzaghe. Yep, there's Joe. Joe Calzaghe. Good defensive fighter. Calls himself the Pride of Wales. Joe Calzaghe retired undefeated at 46-0 at super middleweight. Now, some boxing analysts claim Calzaghe was faster and slicker than American Roy Jones Jr. and clamored for a showdown. But when they finally met in the ring, Calzaghe put on a boxing clinic after being down in the first round. But that wasn't prime Roy. You know, we didn't really get to see Joe Calzaghe and Roy Jones. You know, that wasn't prime Roy Jones. Okay, so no, Gene Tunney. I don't think he was faster and slicker than Roy neither. Gene Tunney, back in the day. Now he only lost one fight. That was to Harry Greb. He never lost at heavyweight. He lost to Harry Greb at light heavyweight, but hey, he still lost. That one loss kept him from matching Rocky. Rocky is the only heavyweight to retire undefeated. Usyk might do it. Yep. Usyk got an excellent chance of doing it. Gene Tunney. Tunney was known as an extremely skilled pugilist with superior boxing ability. He handed Jack Dempsey 2 defeats, one of which became notoriously known as the long count. Dempsey was the most popular boxer of his day, though. Way more popular than Tunney, but Tunney did beat him 2 times. Yep. B-Hop. Here's B-Hop. Bernard Hopkins, we're in the top 10 now. Number 8, B-Hop. Number 10 was Joe Calzaghe. 9 was Gene Tunney. 8 is B-Hop. All former guys. Now, your technique, if I was doing current people, Shakur would definitely be in this top 10. No doubt about it. He would definitely be in there. B-Hop. Love him or hate him, Bernard Hopkins is one of the most skilled boxers of his generation. Well, was one of the most skilled boxers of his generation. Hopkins successfully defended his title 20 times, which is a world record for most consecutive defenses at middleweight. I think he tied with Triple G. I think Triple G got 20 also. Yeah, I believe him and Triple G is tied. Just Do Boxing is in the building. What's up, Just Do? Talking about some defensive fighters today. Just Do Boxing is coming up at 4, about an hour from now. I guess that balanced, unbiased boxing talk. Everybody gets to Just Do it, Just Do Boxing. Salute Just Do. We're going to talk about some great jabs in a minute. Once we're in the top 10 now. Top 10 defensive fighters of all time. Number 7 is Wilfred Benitez. Wilfred Benitez. There's Wilfred. Yeah. The 5th king of the 4 kings. Only 4 kings in the deck. Had been 5 kings in the deck, Wilfred would be in it because Wilfred fought 3 of the 4 kings. He didn't fight Hagler, but he fought Duran, he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, he fought the Hitman. Beat Duran. Yeah. But you're talking about them great fighters of that period of the 4 kings. You got to talk about Wilfred. Wilfred was a bad man back then, man. Yeah. Still the youngest ever to win a championship at 17 years old. That record still holds. When he won his first title, some of his high school classmates were at the fight, man. Some of his high school classmates were at the fight, 17 years old. In high school, world boxing champion. Benitez. Now, the Puerto Rican New York-born sensation, Wilfred Benitez is the epitome of the term boxer puncher. Now, not only did Benitez have great defense, his aggressiveness was paramount. Yep. Good offensive and good defense. A good all-around fighter, Wilfred. Yep. But only 4 kings in the deck, so Wilfred got left out. Like they did me on the panel. I'm the 5th king of the panel. You got Thomas Hill, Javille Hattie, Ed McQueen, and Fine Arnie. One is the 4 kings of the panel. I'm the 5th king. I'm the Benitez of the panel. Okay. Juan Manuel Marquez, another one underrated defense. Great counterpuncher. Juan Manuel Marquez. Okay. Now, the most elusive Mexican fighter, Marquez is the king of fighting in a telephone booth, a term used in boxing to describe fighting close in the center of the ring, while using sidestepping motions to turn your opponent. Now, Marquez is a master at counterpunching, and regarded as one of the best Mexican boxers of all time, no doubt. Juan Manuel. Next, Sugar Ray Leonard. That's him with his back to it. That was actually Hagler's picture, but I forgot Sugar Ray's take on the Sugar Ray, so I said, well, Sugar Ray in that picture, right? You know. Sugar Ray Leonard, though. Top number five. Yeah. Okay. In the 1980s, Leonard was named Boxer of the Decade and has since been considered one of the greatest boxers of all time. Ray's style was considered too sweet to beat. However, he got his moniker Sugar from his wife, Juanita Wilkerson, long before he was great. I don't know. Muhammad Ali, number 4. Top 5 now. Sugar Ray 5, Muhammad Ali 4. Okay. Now float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. Ali was a great defensive fighter, the best of all time at the back pedal knockout, and he invented the rope-a-dope. Yeah, Ali hit you going backwards. Number 3, Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson. So y'all wonder who is number 1? We done passed Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray. You'll see who my number 1 is. Sugar Ray Robinson. Robinson was named the greatest boxer of the 20th century by the Associated Press, and is argued to be the greatest boxer ever. Robinson had power in both hands, and his fluid delivery made him a master for pugilists. He's a member of the 100 Knockout Club. Sugar Ray got 109 knockouts. Yeah. Top 2. Number 2, Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker, number 2. Well, we got a draw at number 2. Okay. One of them is Pernell Whitaker. Nicknamed Sweet Pea, Pernell Whitaker was a very slippery southpaw. His defense and steady offense gained him world recognition when he was named Fighter of the Year by Ring Magazine at age 25. And the other one, we had a draw at number 2. We got a number 1 also. This is the number. Sweet Pea and Floyd is the draw at number 2. Okay. Undoubtedly the best defensive fighter of his era. Floyd's counterpunching, speed, and accuracy are the reason he finished undefeated at 50-0. And number 1, my number 1, the will of the wisp, Willie Pep. Okay, Willie Pep, number 1 defensive fighter of all time. Arguably the best defensive fighter ever. Pep's career spanned 26 years while tallying an unprecedented 241 fights with only 11 losses. That's less than 5%. To put this in perspective, it's the same percentage if Floyd Mayweather, well, never mind that. But yeah, 5%, Willie Pep. That's all he lost of his fight, 5%. The greatest defensive fighter ever. Won a round one time without throwing a punch. Okay? Against Jackie Graves. I've never seen this fight. I can't find it. But now, let's talk about the jab, one of the most important punches in boxing. Some of the best jabbers of all time. Okay? Some of the best jabbers. 12 of them. Very brief little talk on them. Okay. Of them. Yeah, Sonny Liston had a good jab. He's number 12, Sonny Liston. The Big Bear. The Big Bear. Sonny Liston. Crush did a great show on him yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, these times go by so fast. Now, with few exceptions, the jab is every fighter's most fundamental weapon. The key punch that sets up all the others. Without it, a boxer cannot effectively establish rhythm, distance, and timing. Crucial for both offense and defense. The jab is the vital weapon that all boxers learn first. Here are the pugilists who carried the most dangerous and effective leads and perfected the craft of the jab. Number 12, the Big Bear, Sonny Liston. Maybe no one has thrown a harder left jab than the incredibly intimidating Liston, known to have actually removed teeth. The jab of a prime Liston was a deadly weapon. Yeah, nobody threw a jab as hard as Sonny. Sonny was in sparring and split the guy's headgear with a jab and knocked out like 8 teeth with a jab, okay? Split the headgear. Went all the way with a jab, went through the headgear and knocked 8 teeth out of the guy with a jab. The Big Bear, okay? Number 11, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. We talk about some of the greatest jabs of all time now. Thomas the Hitman Hearns. One of the ring's most wicked jabs was perfected in Detroit's famous Kronk Gym. Hearns was renowned for his devastating right hand, but it was a sharp and powerful jab that created openings for that right hand, okay? That's what set up that right hand, that jab. We go way back. James J. Corbett, way back. As one of the earliest pure boxers, Gentleman Jim relied heavily on his left jab to keep larger, stronger opponents at bay and create openings for his right hand. His jab was very important because back when he fought around the turn of the century, 1900s, late 1800s, 1900s, a lot of times you fought bigger men, you know, middleweights, lightweights, everybody fought everybody else. And the jab was very important to keep them big men off of it. Right. And James J. Corbett had a great one. Mm-hmm. Number 9, Harold Johnson. He was back around the 50s, 60s, around in there. Harold Johnson, the light heavyweight champion they nicknamed Hercules, owed much of his success to his excellent left jab, which he utilized with exemplary precision and timing. Yeah, a little short discussion. I ain't trying to bore y'all. Exactly. BBO Boxing TV. That's hashtag STN. Sports Team Network. What's up, BBO? The loot. We talking about the jab. We talked about some defensive fighters, but now we talking about some of the best jabs in the business. Okay, we're gonna talk about footwork. This is like boxing 101 today. Then we're gonna talk about footwork. Okay, next is Muhammad Ali. Okay, he comes in at number 8. We got some great jabbers. If Ali is number 8, right? Let's look, BBO. Okay, Muhammad Ali, as he famously told all who would listen, and even those who would not listen, the Louisville Lit could float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The eyes can't hit. Hands can't hit what the eyes can't see, right? And the punch that did most of the stinging was a rapier-like jab that was so quick, few could block or evade it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, few could block or evade it. If Liston had the strongest jab, Ali probably had the quickest. Yeah, like I told y'all, Liston split a guy's headgear with a jab and knocked out like 8 teeth, right? Now that's hard. Split somebody's headgear. You would think it would be a power shot, right? It was a jab in sparring. The Brown Bombers is at number 7. Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. Louis was one of the most correct punchers in boxing history. Left hook, uppercut, straight right. The Brown Bomber mastered them all. It was no different with the jab, but with Joe's incredible power behind it, his left jab was a wrecking ball. Yes, yes it was. At number 6 is Marvelous Marvin Hagler. See him and Sugar Ray, same picture. What happened? Yeah, I got a good jab too. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. There he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. The Marvelous One is rightfully regarded as one of the greatest southpaws in boxing history, but he was a converted southpaw, which meant his true power hand was the right. As a result, his southpaw jab was a deadly weapon, packing tremendous force and velocity. Okay? Yeah. Because he was really right-handed, so that lead jab was really his strong hand. So he had a very deadly jab. That got kind of mixed up there, but his right jab was his strong hand, so he had a serious jab. Marvelous didn't. Yeah, Larry Holmes had a beautiful one. I should have had Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, but he couldn't put everybody, only 12 of them. I've got a couple of old school guys like this one, Tommy Loughlin. He had a good jab. The all-time great they called the Philly Phantom was revered for his ring intelligence and his left jab, which he depended on the Barza buffet and befuddle his opponent. He was like 20s, 30s, back around that range. Floyd Mayweather Jr., number 4. And Tommy Loughlin was number 5. Yeah. Floyd Mayweather Jr., arguably the finest technical boxer of his generation. The pugilist they once called Pretty Boy boasted one of the prettiest left leads you might ever see. A dangerous and essential weapon for Floyd, both upstairs and down. Yep. Yeah, Floyd took that jab to the body a lot, remember? He was so fast that he could get away. A lot of people couldn't get away with that, the way he used to bend in and throw that lead jab to the body, but Floyd was so fast he could get away with it. A lot of people would get caught trying to do that, jumping in there like that, but Floyd was just so fast. He could get away with it, He did that a lot, remember? He used to lean in with that left hand and hit in the body and get back out there before the other fighter could react. Number 3 is the great Benny Leonard from the 20s, 30s. He's the longest reigning lightweight champion, Benny Leonard, yeah. Trained by Ray Arcel back in the 20s. Ray Arcel is just legendary. He trained at least one world champion in every decade from 1920 all the way up to 1980. Incredible. You hear that? One world champion in every decade from the 20s to the 80s. This man had a world champion in at least one. Some decades he had more than one, multiple, but at least one in every decade from the 20s to the 80s, right? Ray Arcel. Roberto Duran's legendary trainer, incredible. Benny Leonard, one of the true artists of the ring, the Ghetto Wizard, didn't have just one jab, but a host of them, all with a different purpose. Some set up specific combinations, some maneuvered the opponent, while others could rattle one's teeth. Yeah, y'all ever, and if you haven't seen Benny Leonard, man, pull us a film and watch Benny Leonard, the Ghetto Wizard, man. He was incredible in the ring. Anybody haven't seen him? I know BBO part of this seen him. This man was incredible. I would probably, when talking lightweight, I might put him above Duran. Duran might be number 2 lightweight, but yeah, you get a chance, check out Benny Leonard, the Ghetto Wizard. Incredible, man. Incredible fighter. Had power too. Had some pop too. Fought back around the 20s, 30s. Yeah, check him out if you get a chance. And let me know what you think. Incredible. Number 2 is Larry Holmes, BBO. BBO was just talking about him. Larry Holmes, the Eastern Assassin. Yeah. BBO, Larry Holmes had a beautiful jab. He makes number 2. That's who number 1 was. We're going to find out in a minute. Now, early in his professional career, the Eastern Assassin injured his right hand. And while he waited for it to heal, he spent countless hours in the gym developing a left jab so sharp and powerful, it became the finest the heavyweight division has ever seen. Now, I never knew that before this morning. He hurt his right hand. That's how he developed that jab. Became so potent. Because while his right hand was healing, he was in the gym working on his left, and it perfected his left hand. I just found that out this morning. I told you I'm learning too. You know what I mean? You know, about history, man, you always learning. Nobody knows everything. You always learning, man. Always learning. Yeah. Yep. I never knew that about home. He hurt his right hand. That's how he perfected his left hand, became so potent that jab. Because he couldn't use his right. Now, Joe Gans is number one. The old master. Joe Gans. Fought around in late 1800s, early 1900s. He was the first black world champion. Black American, because George Dixon was the first black champion, but he was Canadian. George Dixon was the first black person to win a championship in any sport. Baseball, football, basketball, volleyball, kickball, dodgeball, whatever. He was the first black person to win a championship in any sport, George Dixon. And Joe Gans was the first American. Joe Gans, the old master, fought from 1893 to 1909 and is credited by most with actually inventing the jab. This man invented the jab. He developed the art of using it both defensively to disrupt his opponent's attack or on the offense to force a retreat and set up his dangerous right hand. Joe Gans, credited with inventing the jab, okay? And he was doing all kinds of stuff, jumping rope and all kinds of training exercises way back then that they do now before anybody else had even heard of the type stuff he was doing. I think he invented the speed bag or the double end bag, one of the bag, heavy bag. He invented one of those bags too. Joe Gans, a true pioneer of the sport of boxing. Let's talk about some footwork. So this is Boxing 101 today. Let's talk about some footwork, okay? Appreciate everybody. Hardcore boxing news in the building. What's up? The uppercut also. Oh, Joe Gans invented the uppercut, Jay? Wow, I'm learning too. Let's salute Jay. Jay Hardcore from Hardcore Boxing News. The Hangout, 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock on Sunday. At the Old Timers Show at 8 o'clock Sunday night. Jay Hardcore, founder of the JBT. Man, wear a lot of hats. Yeah. Founder and fearless leader of the JBT. Okay, we're going to talk about some footwork now. Okay, let me get that going for you. But how's everybody? We're getting late in this big week. We were supposed to do the boxing in the States on Thursday, but I was doing the wrong state. I almost got finished doing Oregon, and I already did Oregon, man. Yeah. Pennsylvania was last, remember? Oregon was before Pennsylvania. It's supposed to have been Rhode Island, but that'll be next week. So I came up with Boxing 101 today. 2 different things. Okay? I blame y'all for not telling me in the chat. I kept talking about Oregon yesterday. You might have supposed to put in that cash you did Oregon. Okay? I ain't blaming myself. Let's talk about some footwork. Yeah. Yeah, those 2 guys there, remember we talked about them. They became great friends after their career. Now, they didn't like each other during those 3 trilogies, Barrera and Morales, but after going through all they went through, all 3 of those tough fights, man, they became great friends after their career, and there they are. They wasn't like that when they was going through the trilogy. They could not stand it. They hated each other's guts, man. Yeah. But you can't help but get a certain respect for a person after sharing the ring, all those fights, beating up on each other. Just like Sandy Satin and Willie Pepper had 4 fights. They couldn't stand each other. Their 4th fight is called the dirtiest fight ever. Sandy Satin and Willie Pepper. But they became best of friends after their career. They went around doing exhibitions together and stuff. Yep. So after you battle somebody like that all them rounds, you can't help but get a certain respect, for the other person, right? Now, why is footwork important in boxing? Glad you asked. I'll tell you about it. Okay? Footwork is crucial in boxing for several reasons. Gans. No, he was too early for that, BVO. Yeah. He was years before them. Gans was like late 1800s, early 1900s. You know, Murderer's Row came like in the 40s. Yeah, he was too early, BVO. But good question. Yeah. He wasn't a part of them though. Yeah. No, he wasn't. Okay, now footwork is crucial in boxing for several reasons. Number one, defense. Good footwork allows a boxer to evade punches and create distance from an opponent. Now, by moving effectively, a boxer can avoid being hit while positioning themselves better to counterattack. Okay. Number two, offense. These are some reasons why footwork is crucial in boxing. Number two, offense. Effective footwork helps a boxer close the distance to land punches or create angles for more effective strikes. It enables them to step in quickly and outmaneuver their opponent. Okay? Number three, balance and stability. Proper footwork maintains a boxer's balance, which is essential for executing punches with power and accuracy. A solid base allows for quick adjustments and movements. Okay? Number four, control of the ring. Boxers use footwork to control the pace and positioning of the fight. By moving strategically, they can dictate the action and force their opponent into unfavorable positions. Also, footwork is used for energy efficiency. Good footwork can help conserve energy, okay, by allowing a boxer to move fluidly without unnecessary exertion. Efficient movement can lead to better stamina throughout the fight. Number six, setting up combinations. Now, effective footwork is key for setting up punches and combinations. Now, by creating angles and distance, a boxer can find openings in their opponent's defense. Lucy Goosey. What's up, Lucy Goosey? Appreciate you. Oh, I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed Lucy Goosey. Hope you can come back in here. That's a great name. It's like the Ghetto Wizard and the Explosive Thin Man, Lucy Goosey. Salute. Good to see you today. Cass Sports, the Box Historian. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., bringing you all that boxing history. And other things too. Like today, it's like a little boxing 101. Okay, now where were we? Setting up combinations. Did we do that? Setting up combinations? Effective footwork is key for setting up punches and combinations. By creating angles and distance, a boxer can find openings in their opponent's defense. In summary, footwork is foundational to a boxer's overall strategy, impacting their ability to attack, defend, and control the fight. Now, what role does footwork play in different boxing styles? Again, glad you asked. Let me tell you about that. What role does footwork play in the different boxing styles? You know, like the pressure fighter and the boxer puncher. Now, footwork plays a distinct role in various boxing styles, adapting to each style's unique strategies and techniques. Here's how footwork influences different boxing styles. Okay? Now, the outboxer focuses on maintaining distance and using speed and agility to land punches from afar, like a Devin Haney. Okay, classic outboxer. Now, footwork role. Quick lateral movement and effective jabbing are crucial. Outboxers utilize footwork to stay out of range while scoring points from a distance. Now the pressure fighter, yeah, pressure fighters use footwork. You might say, oh, Pitbull just plodding around. He don't use no footwork, but yeah, you got to use footwork. You want to stay in close that distance. Now, a pressure fighter aims to close the distance and overwhelm opponents with relentless offense. Now, the footwork role to the pressure fighter. Strong, purposeful footwork is essential for cutting off the ring and staying close to the opponent. They often employ short, quick steps to maintain pressure and limit the opponent's movement. You know, like cutting off the ring. You know, the key to cutting off the ring, you want to stop your opponent from going where they want to go. You don't want to follow them around them. You want to stop them from going where they're trying to get to. Footwork is essential in that, right? You know? The counterpuncher. Now, a counterpuncher waits for opponents to make mistakes, then capitalizes with precise counterattacks. Now, the footwork role to a counterpuncher. Okay, yeah, Lucy Goosey says, I stumbled across your channel today. I was watching your video on boxing styles, so I subscribed and noticed you were live. I appreciate your perspective and knowledge. I appreciate you, Lucy Goosey. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., bringing you all that boxing history. Appreciate you subscribing to Lucy Goosey. Okay, yeah, the counterpuncher. Now, the footwork role to the counterpuncher is subtle movements are key. Counterpunchers often use footwork to create angles, evade incoming punches, and set up their counters effectively without overcommitting. That's key, without overcommitting. Now, the swarmer. The swarmer is similar, just like a pressure fighter, probably about the same thing. Engages in close range fighting, relying on volume and aggression. I guess a swarmer would probably be classified as more aggressive than the pressure fighter, right? Now, footwork role to the swarmer. Swarmers need quick, constant foot movement to stay inside their opponent's reach. They often use bobbing and weaving combined with fast footwork to avoid punches while closing the distance. And the boxer puncher, like a boots, boxer puncher, combines the skills of an outboxer with the knockout power of a puncher. That's the boxer puncher. Footwork role to a boxer puncher, okay? Versatile footwork is crucial, allowing for both offensive and defensive maneuvers. They must be able to move in and out of range effectively, adapting their footwork based on the situation. In summary, footwork is tailored to the specific needs of each boxing style, influencing how boxers engage with their opponents, manage distance, and execute their strategies. Okay, now let's get a little link time. We got like 30 minutes. Everybody is welcome to hit the link. Okay, I'm gonna drop the link in here. Now, all are welcome. The more the merrier. But appreciate everybody for stopping by today. Tomorrow is going to be, we do a profile every Friday on a former boxer. This week is going to be Floyd Mayweather. I had to check. I know we done did Floyd, but no, all this time, never did Floyd. So he's tomorrow. The life and career of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Yep. We're going to cover his personal life, his professional life, amateur career, all that stuff. Money Mayweather. Every Friday we do a profile on a former boxer, all former. Okay. And tomorrow is Floyd's turn. 2:00. Part of the JBT network. We got Just Do Boxing coming up at 4. Fire channel. Talks about mainly the current event stuff going on in boxing, and give you the balanced, unbiased view of it. Perfect name. Everybody gets to Just Do over there, Just Do Boxing. Everybody. Even the people in the chat get their just due over there. Okay? At Just Do Boxing. And remember, hit my like on the way out if you didn't hit it. Then on the way in the Just Do, hit his like. Okay? Oh shit. No, don't hit that link though. What the hell? Yeah. Forgive me. Oh. My bad. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Wait a minute. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Okay. Let me be quiet for a minute. How's everybody today? We got some good women's fights this weekend. We got couple championship fights. We got Natasha Jonas and I think Caroline Dubois. Daniels with a sister. I think they're on the same card from London. They both putting the titles on the line this weekend. Yep. And then next weekend is a good one. Flyweight Kenshiro Teraji and Seigo Yuri Agi. That's a flyweight unification. I've been talking about that for a while. Nobody's talking about that. That's going to be a good fight, man. A barn burner. I promise you. Unification. Two great flyweight fighters. See, I follow those. A lot of people don't follow those lower classes, because it's mainly Asians and Latinos. But I follow them because you get some great action down there, man. And that fight between Kenshiro Teraji and Seigo Yuri Agi at 112 next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend is going to be a barn burner. I'm telling y'all, man. Fight of the year type situation. Okay? Fight of the year type situation. That is. Yes, it is. Yeah. And that's I think it's the 13th. And the 13th is like on a Thursday, I believe. It's from Japan, so it might be early in the morning. It's on a Thursday, so yeah. And it's from Japan, so you might have to get up. You know how they do over there. They don't cater to us. They put their fights on at their own time. So if you want to see them, you got to get up or oh well, do what you got to do. Yeah, they don't play that. What's up, Hill? Yeah. What's up, Thomas Hill?
Man, guys, you got the best hand, man. I was over there about to call you, bro, because I was like, dog, you ain't reading the chat.
What happened? Oh, okay.
Yeah, broken link you put up in there. Like, we can't even get on, can
it? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, but I got you. What's happening though?
Oh man, you tell me, dog.
I don't know, just following this boxing situation. Yeah, I wanted to see if we could do a breakdown on that Kenshiro Teraji Seigo Yuri Agi fight. I think it's on the 13th. Is that on a Thursday?
With Ann McQueen?
Huh?
With Ann McQueen? One of the casuals?
Yeah. If y'all can get that together. That's going to be a good. Nobody's talking about that fight. A lot of people don't follow those lower weight classes. That's 112.
They don't. They
That's
don't.
Unification.
See a lot of great fights though.
There, man. Yeah. Be a good one.
Yeah,
it might be early in the morning though, because it's from Japan,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if it's not Monster, a lot of people don't get up and watch the fights, Yeah.
No, there's a lot of good talent out there. Like you said, that's going to be a great fight, man. That's going to be a pretty dang good fight, man. Shit, I'm going to see. I'm going to holler at him and see if he feel like doing one, if we could fire it up.
Yeah, they both champions, unification fight. Yeah.
I think there's also more traction going with the Junto fight, possibly with Naoya. That would be a hell of a fight.
Oh man, yeah.
That
Are
would
they,
be.
they in talks for that fight?
Huh?
Are they in
They're,
talks
they're,
for that?
they're not talking. It's traction, meaning people are talking about it.
Okay.
People
yeah, I know.
want to see it.
Yeah, right.
He ain't but a couple of weight classes up, and
That's
one of the weight classes he moved up from was one of those classes that he was in. He didn't fight in that class, so Junto is right around the same, weight as he is. It'd be a hell of a fight.
And most weight classes are only like 3 pounds, T Hill. So
well, yeah, when you down that low, yeah, they be like 1.5 pounds, and you in weight class.
Like, he probably would be fighting at the weight he usually fight at anyway,
Simply put, they one happy meal away from fighting one another, right? So they can make those fights happen.
Yeah,
it's just that the powers that be will want to do it because you got two people making big brands out of those two fighters.
Yeah.
You know how we are. I mean, just look at this recent fight. You know how we are and how we do fighters when they don't look so good. So out there, I'm not sure they do that, but all around the world, it can have a different look to certain demographics and certain areas. So hopefully they make it though. It's a fight. I think it's the third biggest fight you can make in boxing.
Yeah,
I think that Junto and Naoya. Well, I think 4 because I think if you throw Tank and Naoya in there, it'll be huge too. People would love to see that because now, especially since this Roach fight, people are waiting for the next person to probably just really truly knock him off with no speculation, with no doubt, with no controversy, just knock him out.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, shout out to that situation because I think now we get fights and this is only a big if, this is a huge if Tank is motivated and focused.
I know.
That has to be the thing. He has to want to fight. I don't think he really wanted to fight and he just went through the motions for myself. That's what I feel.
Yeah,
and
like
I got
Jay
inside.
T-Hill.
Huh?
Like Jay was saying this morning, once the fighters start talking at retirement, man, he already got one foot out.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I be having connections to fighters, and I got a connection to Tank, and he dealing with some ish that don't got nothing to do with boxing, and it's major. So that's why you see the text way back in the day saying the fight is canceled. That's why when he showed up super, super late and disinterested, distracted, not even want to say nothing. Then the next day, he didn't say nothing until people in the audience were talking.
Right.
And then the thing with the presser for the fight week, he like, I would, but I'm shy because my Dukes. Like, this is stuff that you don't see from him. The way he even fought in the ring is not like normal Tank fights.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But that being said, Lamont Roach did his Mickey Freaky thing in that ring.
Can't take nothing away from him.
Yeah, he took some shots. He threw some shots.
That's what surprised me the most about him was his chin, man. Wow.
I don't ascribe to that knockdown being a true knockdown, but the sense is if you get touched by a glove and you take a knee, you can call that a knockdown.
Yeah.
Then what happened afterwards, you can call that a disqualification. Will they do that? No, because that's a major fight. People would have been bedlam and mayhem if they had done that.
Oh, that would have been.
But you could have called it a knockdown. And the one thing that looks bad is that he started counting. Now, why he started counting, I don't know, because I remember Tank looking to him after the braid hit him in the eye and said something, and then he immediately took the knee and then went to the corner.
I know.
But if you look at the punches, because they said it was the combination, people that's hating said it was a combination of two punches. The first punch clearly missed. The second one grazed him on the other side. He grabbed the other eye. So it wasn't from the punch, but the punch landed, so you can call it a knockdown.
He could have, yeah.
So if you call it a knockdown, given the way they scored the fight, you would give the fight to Lamont Roach.
Yeah, Roach would have had it if he would have called that, no doubt.
Yeah. Me, myself, I had it 7-5 Tank, but it was close. I ain't mad at somebody who said it was 7-5 Lamont Roach. I'm not mad at that. Roach did his thing. But
Roach had to get special permission to come up and do that. So if they do it again, he might have to vacate his belts at 130, you know?
Yeah, but if it gets mandated, see, like the thing that to me is like you can't overturn it, because if you overturn it, then you open up every
They're not going to do that.
every controversial bout that took place.
Yeah,
That's when my man Melgie Taylor get his championship, dog.
damn right.
That was a controversial
that.
stoppage.
Yeah.
That means you take off them losses to Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah, they have to
And
go
that's
back and
raw.
do a whole lot of stuff if they
Yeah, that
do.
means
Words if they do that, man.
that means Cambosis didn't beat Maxie Hughes. That could mean that we look at that Devin Haney and Lamont Loma fight. So many things come into play. You go all the way back in time, because it just don't start there. That didn't happen just that one time. It was
Just leave it like it is, man.
So you got to just make the decision that a rematch is mandatory. You mandate the rematch, and it supersedes everything else. Then you got him keeping his belt, and you got him getting the chance to fight for that belt. But I don't think he should even fight at 30 no more. He looked better at 35.
Yeah, he did, man. He was big too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's a big Tank, really a little dude. He's just a little dude that got big talent.
Yeah. But you know, I was saying, even to Tank being so small, Roach still looked just as big as them other 135 pounders, man.
Looked big, and his head definitely looked big. Boy, that boy's head was on tight status right there. He was taking some punches too, boy. He was the man in that ring, bro. I will not take nothing from him. And I will not make no excuse for Tank. But I do know, given his behavior leading up to the fight and during fight week, and what my man, that is Tank's right-hand man, said, or close to want to be in his right-hand man said, that he's dealing with some issues, and it's outside of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I'm putting 1 and 1 together, and it's looking like 2. I'm just saying, whether it's 1 + 1 or 1 times 1. No, well, 1 times 1 is 1. I take that.
Yeah, boxing kind of stuff, you got to go in there with a clear head and focus. If you're dealing with issues, man, you might need to take a leave of absence or something. You can't get in that ring.
Well, I don't think he's afforded that luxury now. I think that, you know, that mandatory rematch has to happen. But what he should do before, he said he needs to go take some time and get right back into the ring. No, take that time. However you got to do it. Put people around you and go to a place where you can be straight, tuned out of the world, dialed into boxing world, and just keep it boxing. Keep it that, man. Get your head right, because
Lucy Goosey said we got the fights tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you already know what it is.
Is that pro box?
You already know what it is.
Is that pro box to you?
Yeah, you know what it is. So, you know, with that being the case, like, what I was about to say is that you gotta make sure that you're really in it, and you're in it.
That's right, man.
You can't. This man, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be quiet. This man has been making a boatload of money, and he's only 30 years old, and he's in great shape. Why would somebody that's making a boatload of money, in great shape, want to stop and then tell kids not to get into it? He going through something major if that's the case. He gotta be, because it ain't like these fights have been difficult. Now, maybe training is difficult, but not these fights. So he just got to stay out of other nonsense, get back to a safe space, keep only the people that he can trust around him, and do his business.
Yeah, that's key there.
That's it. Get back in that ring, make it right, because right now it don't look right. I let leave because I see that the great loquacious and ubiquitous one, Ant McQueen, is in here, and you were just about to say
on
something.
the zone tonight. Okay, Ledbetter versus Flores. Okay, what's up, Ant?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
So how are you today?
I'm pretty good. How about y'all?
We doing okay. Just talking.
Blessed to see another one. About to go deal with some tires, but blessed to see another one.
Yeah, that's true. What you think on the subject? Everybody's still talking about the Tank. I guess they're gonna be talking about that for a while.
Oh yeah.
But rightfully so.
Yeah,
You
that's
talked about every other fighter. Why not talk about him? Why is he above
a hot
anything?
topic right now. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you guys on that? Thoughts and stuff on the situation right now.
My feelings are pretty ambivalent.
Mm-hmm.
Got mixed feelings on it.
Yeah.
On the Lamont Roach side of things, I haven't been a fan of the scrutiny that he's faced
Mm-hmm.
for, pursuing things the way that he has.
Yeah.
With his team going to state commission and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
And then just for him, voicing his want for the rematch.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm seeing people criticizing for that, saying, "Oh, he sounds like he's begging. He should just move on." It's like, why should he do all that?
Yeah, why should he move on? Yeah. Yeah.
As far as Tank is concerned, my personal feelings of this, I think it may go beyond just who he can trust and things of that sort.
Yeah.
King Kong comes to mind. The movie King Kong, right? Like,
okay.
When you look at King Kong on the surface, it appears to just be, a monster movie, right?
Right.
King Kong is really about exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
You got this big old ape who's, abnormal in size. He's held captive and he's put on display for people's entertainment.
Right.
That's what the movie's really about. Exploitation.
Yeah.
I think that's some of what Tank may be dealing with, man, because I listened to an interview that he had and he expressed, just always having to do things that betrust the economy that surrounds him.
Was the interview after the fight or before?
Before the fight.
Before? Okay.
Yeah, before the fight.
Okay.
Like, could you imagine the amount of pressure somebody could possibly feel when you're at the center of what he is?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people, so many moving parts, so much money in circulation that hinges upon him having to go through training and having to do this and media obligations and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot that's predicated upon his involvement.
Yeah. And then you got to get in there and perform too.
Then you got to get in there and perform.
I will say this. You have no clue how close you are.
But ultimately, you're treated like a commodity and not a person.
That's a great point there. Yeah.
Yo, get in there and do this. Get in there and do that.
People look at you too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people look at you. You're a commodity. You're not a person at that point. Now, most people would kill to be in a position like that because they're just thinking about the money.
About the money, yeah.
And not the fact that, there might be a time where I don't want to go sit down and go do an interview with somebody.
Right.
I just want to be a free person. I don't want to have to think about how my actions support this brand, which support God knows how many people.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are a lot of people who are eating off of him.
I know.
Even us to a degree, right? Like as content creators,
That's true.
we're talking about him right now.
Right now.
Bars who air the fights and all these other things.
Yeah, that's.
So I could only imagine like what it would feel like to not have people call you and ask you about your well-being because they're genuinely concerned with your well-being. Just like, hey, how are you? How you feeling today?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is about business and how you affect the business. So
Yeah.
I could only imagine how easy it may become, to become jaded and disillusioned with just that alone. Like nobody gives a shit how I feel.
And he expressed that in that interview?
Yeah, and one of them.
Okay.
He didn't really go too in depth, but I seen one where he was talking about, he'd be on his way to a meeting or something like that, and he'll be in the back seat of the car and he'll be crying, and then he got to dry his face so nobody notices, his team, because he got to hold it all together for them.
That's deep there, man. Wow, that's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
You can't be vulnerable for a minute.
Yeah.
Because everybody is dependent on you.
Right.
And then the person who's dependent upon, who do they depend on? It's like, who do you call? Who do you speak to when you just want to just talk and just be a person?
Yeah.
Not a business, not a brand, not a commodity, just a person.
Just a person, somebody to talk to. He might not even have nobody like that, Not one person.
And you see, he expressed that his biggest fear was being embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even like losing itself. It's just being embarrassed.
Being embarrassed, yeah. Look how all the haters got on him. He didn't even lose. He had a draw. And look how it was on him,
Yep.
He didn't even lose the fight.
Hell, all he got to do is not knock somebody out. And see, I told you he wasn't what he's been built to be. He a hype job.
Just win a decision.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it could be a sound decision. He could show the greatest boxing skills we've seen since Sugar Ray Robinson, and it'll be an issue still if there's no knockout.
He didn't knock him out. Yeah.
Told you he wasn't that good. He ain't no knockout puncher.
That's why they call Ant McQueen the value, though.
Yeah.
But part of it is on the fans too, I must say, because I think that there is a lot of flack that he gets, and it's not just him, but any fighter with a considerable fan base, especially one like his, though. When you got fans and supporters being a little bit overzealous.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't even about him no more. It's just about, see, I told y'all he wasn't this, that, and the third.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that's a good point, man. I never thought about it like that.
Sometimes the clues are right in front of us, Cass. We just gotta listen to what these guys say in these interviews at times.
He might not really not have that one person he can go and talk to. Just straight up talk to. He might not have one person like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's spot on with that one right there. Mm-hmm. Spot on.
That's something to think about,
Yeah, being a commodity, that's not something that most of us deal with. You know what I'm saying? We at least got somebody, whether it's a significant other, a relative, a friend, somebody. Even in that position, I'm pretty sure you gotta even question your friends, because it's like, who the hell is around because they want to be around, or
that's right,
because the gravy train is rolling right now. So
everybody around him is eating off of him some kind of way,
and many others want to eat off of him too. Not just the people around him, but so many people that don't have nothing to do with him want a piece of him. So much so that a lot of people go overboard. Like with all these fighters, like Ant said, all these fighters don't do it. It's just his skill is so much grander than everybody else's.
Right.
But man, that's good stuff. That's great perception, man.
Yeah,
My
Yeah,
God, it's pretty damn close too.
people become spectacles, and that's the thing, man. Which reminds me, I got to check out this book. It's called like The Spectacle of Society by Guy Debord.
yeah,
And in this book, he talks about how things become commodified, man. Like travel becomes tourism, sex and sensuality then becomes pornography. Boxing, which is a sport at its core, now that becomes prize fighting.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Whole lot.
Wow.
But yeah, and your boy Cass said he want to do a breakdown.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know the fight come. I think it's the 13th. Kenshiro Teraji and Seigo Uriagi, they flyweights. Unification fight. I think it's the 13th. I think that's next Thursday.
Hold on, let me write that down because we can take a look at
Might
that.
be in the morning. You know how they do in Japan on the weekdays. Yeah, I talked about it a while back. They 112, both champions of unification fight. Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be a tremendous fight too.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a tremendous
nobody's
fight.
talking about it at all.
Well, because they fixated on certain folks.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
And it's a shame because there's boxing going on as we speak.
And you want to look at the entertainment part of it, that's going to be an entertaining fight. Well, it should be an entertaining
It's gonna be graphic.
Yeah.
Them boys come in there and they mean business.
You get a lot of action down in them lower weight classes.
Yeah, you do.
No. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And they got some pop too, you know?
Yeah.
You see a knockout too.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. We can get that together one day.
Matter of fact, I think the card that they're fighting on is it's about 4 other fights that's gonna be pretty damn active too.
Yeah, it's a bunch of Japanese fighters on there.
Yeah, and they all making huge impacts out there for the sport.
Yeah.
So
they're all down around those same weight classes. Yeah. I gotta look at the card. Yeah, I didn't look at the whole card, but yeah. It's in Japan too. The 13th is on a Thursday, right? Because today is the 6th. Yeah. So yeah.
But
yeah, we gotta get ready to get out of here too.
You know, it's been a good one. It's always good to hear my brother Ant speak. That boy got so much sound logic. It's ridiculous.
I never looked at it that way though, you know.
Yeah, no. And yeah, man, that's damn near almost about to it.
Yeah.
He dealing with a whole lot.
Bad for the young man, you know.
Yeah, you damn near. It's like the equivalent of like Shamu at SeaWorld. You know what I mean? It's like you just here.
And really
appease the audience and the corporate interests and all that other stuff.
And like you said, even his friends, you know, you don't really know if they round him are really true friends. They might just round him for what he doing for them, what they getting out of it, you know.
Yeah, it's always refreshing to know that you got real people in your life, man. Like you said, you know, I can't even say it right. I can't even say it, but very often that's not the case, bro.
I feel like him and his mother is pretty close, though, you know. So maybe he can talk to her, you know.
Well, like you said, it even goes beyond that. But I mean,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's tough when you ain't wish for this and it comes to you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't hope for none of this. You ain't desired none of this, but it comes and it's at your front door, and it's like my man said, knock, knock, light skin. It's really hitting you with a knock, knock, light skin. And by the way, I love that energy from Keyshawn.
Yeah.
I really do.
What he's supposed to do, you know?
I don't understand why he catches hate for doing what he got to do to make sure people tune into him. Hey. For what I'm doing in the ring, bro. I want people to talk to me, talk about me. So yeah, I like it. I like it, bro. So, you know. And it takes away from what was a really, really dang good fight and an excellent card, bro.
Oh yeah, that was a nice card. Gary Antoine Russell, he did his thing, man. Wow.
Yeah, he did.
Man, did he ever.
I mean,
I hope that he finally has gotten past that dark cloud. I mean, and it's tough to lose a loved one, especially the one that's got you to where you are.
Yeah. That's true.
But that performance, my God.
I picked it to win, but I didn't know it was going to be like that dominating, you know.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was gonna win, but not like that. I thought it was gonna be a pretty damn good fight, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan didn't really have any answers at all, man.
That man ate his Wheaties that morning.
Yeah, that was.
He put his ass on the box after that performance.
And Sandor Martin and
what you think about that one before we go? And what you think about that one?
That was a good one too, I thought. And you still there? You talking about the Martin? What was the guy named Puello?
Yeah, the Martin and the Puello. That was a hell of a fight.
Yes, it was, man. Yeah, they battled.
Man, it was a damn good battle, bro. It was
like Martin, though. Ever since the T.O.
I did too. I feel bad for Martin. I feel so bad for him, man, because he has not gotten his proper due.
He always competes, man. No matter.
Yeah. It's never an easy fight when you in there with him. Never. That boy got skills.
Yeah.
And you gonna have to fight, and you gonna have to box at a high level. Because he ain't backing down,
man. You know,
he ain't backing down. But I mean, Puello was hitting him with some thunder, though.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I ain't mad if you had it either way.
Yeah,
but I just feel bad for Martin, man, because Martin,
I know
he done got he done got tossed to the side like he's a distant lover. He
fought good, so he deserved another shot, though. You know, he shouldn't just be forgotten.
Yeah, but it get to the point now. If he does somebody else in that same fashion, will he get that shot? Will they really risk it? Because
you always got to think about that part of it.
Yeah, because he was really giving Puello all he can handle, and we know Puello is a pretty damn good fighter, bro.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good boxer. So shout out Sandor Martin. Shout out Alberto Puello. That was a hell of a fight.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed it. It was a good card overall, like you said, you know.
Man, that card was fire. It wasn't billed as the fight of the card of the century, nor will it ever be, man. I'm sure of that. But one thing I am sure of is that card delivered.
Yes, it did.
It delivered. I mean, it was a little bit of things that happened that may have added to some intrigue, some controversy, but that card delivered, though. And thus far, their cards have been pretty damn good.
Yeah, they have been.
Pretty damn good. So
they have been.
I hope we can get past the hate, the smear.
Well, you know, it's always somebody that's just waiting. People had stuff waiting up for years for this situation to happen, you know.
I just literally was talking on some other panel about, man, you know what? I didn't like what happened out there in Saudi, but there was some good fights on that card, bro. And I enjoyed a lot of those fights.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And there was some stuff that was suspect. But
okay, yeah.
For sure. And some stuff was suspect, a little questionable. Yeah. But we was entertained, though. It was some good fights.
Right. It's boxing. You're always gonna have that questionable part, you know, unfortunately. But
unfortunately.
Always going to be there.
But that being the case, Ant, you still here with us?
Yes, sir.
What was your take? Your quick take on the Sandor Martin Alberto Puello fight?
I thought that Sandor Martin did a fantastic job throughout.
Yeah,
Alberto Puello, he definitely came on at the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he didn't get off to the strongest start. Seemed like that speed, the quickness, the in and out, the body work, and just the variety of his attack. Sandor Martin, that is, like it had Puello on his toes, and You said it succinctly, man. Like he gave him all he could handle.
Yeah.
It was just a little too much for him.
Right.
But he did start to get into a nice groove in the last leg of the fight, last 3 rounds between like 9 through 12. I thought that Pollo closed out pretty strong. I felt that Martin was deserving of the victory for sure. But it is what it is, man. You got to follow the money.
That's right.
You got to follow the money. Yep.
We know what the deal is.
That's how I saw it too, bro. It was a heck of a fight, but man, Sandor Martin did his thing.
He always
that boy bad.
He always does, man.
Yep. He's generally gonna, come out on the short end of it. We've seen it in the fight with Teofimo Lopez. He got 2 knockdowns in that fight.
Yeah.
He lost the decision. So if you're Sandor Martin, you're like, damn, what more do I got to do?
Yeah, what do I have to do?
And the fight where my man got caught on the side, Sandor, I still got
it. Right.
That's the thing,
from the fighter.
man.
Yeah. Had
That's
the man
thing.
question himself.
Sometimes, man, the fighters themselves would.
Yes, Sandor had the man question himself, man.
Hey, shout out Sandor Martin, man. Shout out Sandor Martin, man. I so hope you get that chance again.
Man.
I so hope you get that chance again,
I
bro.
was pulling for him in the last fight too.
Man.
Yeah. But
it's just extremely important.
Shot though, man. A good fight like that, they shouldn't just throw him away, man. He earned it, I think.
No, they shouldn't just throw him away.
Yeah.
I think, put him in some more fights, give him the opportunities to get the money, even if he's not in position to get a championship.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And
yeah, for sure.
As fans, as long as we know what we see and we recognize this guy for his talents.
That's right.
That's all that really matters, because the achievement, accolades, and all of those things, they're largely dependent upon situation and timing, affiliation in some cases, like we see with Sandor Martin.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's not affiliated with whomever it is that's gonna get him a fair shake at this stuff. So
nah. And it ain't close. He's gonna come out on the short end. Yeah.
Anytime it's close, he's gonna come out on the short end.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, but yeah, fellas, we gotta get ready to go.
Take us on out, Ant.
Oh no, I'll leave that up to my guy, Cat Sports. He's the box historian, of course.
Box historian.
Yeah, but I appreciate y'all. See, Hill, you haven't been up here in a while. You can close us on down, man. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. We're gonna do Floyd tomorrow. Life and career of Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Oh, for sure. Well, sure, man. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be another treat, another lesson. My man Ant came up here, told us how he gets into some good reading. We're gonna get in some good audio right here with the box story, and he's gonna take you on a tour of what happens and takes place in the sport we love called boxing. Shout out Lucy Goosey.
Oh yeah, Lucy Goosey should have hit that link. He was putting a lot of comments and stuff. He could have been up here telling us that, couldn't he, T-Hill?
You ain't. I would have loved it.
You always
you got too much boxing knowledge on this panel.
Yeah.
Just to have me up here, we should have had him too, or her. Shout out BVO Boxing, Hardcore Boxing News, that good brother Jay Hardcore. Just Do Boxing, because you know what? We about to be segueing over to that way, because that's where you go to give boxing to Just Do. The good brother Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and so much more. Technique, The Way of Things, Crush, the Mickey Freaky Legend, aka the Master of Ceremonies. Shout out Mike Magic, the champ. Mike Rim, the Fisherman. Mrs. Cash, the Better Half. The loquacious and ever so ubiquitous one, Ant McQueen. And Cat Sports, the box story. Your source when you want to get that boxing almanac on audio. And you guys make your way over to Just Do Boxing and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click the link if the link is available and talk boxing from a neutral point of view. And enjoy your day. Always, for those who are listening and have not commented or will catch on the replay, hit the like button, hit the subscription, and join again. Tomorrow will be a fantastic treat for you. And shout out to boxing. We had a fantastic fight card. We're looking for many, many more. This has been a great year so far. And let's respect the sport. Let's respect those who dedicate their lives to the sport. And let's root with people without tearing other folks down. And I'm out.
And much appreciation to Thomas Hill.